Hey guys.
Hey guys.
I am Laurie.
And I'm Elle.
And this is the
Cynical Therapist.
So I was just realizing like, oh my gosh, I didn't put my rings on. It's so funny because
swollen fingers.
Well, I just noticed when it's not there because
Yeah.
when you first put it on, I don't know. Anyways,
She's
random
still married.
random
She's
sidecar.
still married.
Not single, sorry.
She's just not wearing a ring. It happens.
That's so funny. So today, and it'll probably be a little bit shorter, we were going to talk about hormones.
Hormones.
And we are not doctors, so it's important that you know that.
Yes,
It's
we're
important.
just two therapists.
We're
and
just
this
two
is not
therapists.
therapy either. Just caveat.
We also are talking about hormones probably in relation to mental health, so and in relation to our own experience with it. So if you are having hormonal issues or need to talk to somebody about that, you need to go see your GYN or your OBGYN. You need to go see a doctor
or get a panel. I mean, if your insurance kind of allows that and you're really worried about your mood fluctuations or you have a really hard period or a really hard PMS, it would be really important for you to get a hormone panel. But sometimes with insurance, it doesn't allow it until you go to your OB and tell them that this is what you need. So
yeah, and BT dub, like during your hormone panel, because the luteal phase, the follicle phase, I don't remember what the phases are, but your hormones shift so much throughout the month and throughout the different phases that they're going to be different amounts at different times in your cycle.
So don't be scared even if you get information. Take the information and bring it to somebody who can actually translate it for you, or you can actually get the results. So what's been your ongoing, I guess, struggle with hormones as it relates to your daily living?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was why when we were texting about what subjects to do, I've been cranky. So I think it's interesting because when we work with different clients or when we talk about like mental health in the last 5 to 7 years that I've been working with people, I do notice a change. So like for me, I started using an app. It's called Clue.
Clue, C-L-U-E?
Yeah. Okay. I love it because you can like track stuff. And so I started finding out that I was having headaches right before ovulation, and that I was actually kind of crabby during ovulation too, and right before, not just when I'm PMSing.
Wow,
which is a double bonus fun thing for my husband.
That seems counterintuitive for breeding. You know, where is the crankiest woman to impregnate?
I know. That's supposed to be the time when I'm like, super excited, and of course, I mean, obviously, and that's the tough thing about mental health, right? It could be something else, but I've been tracking it for so long.
It's usually a question that I ask most women, like if they're in session and they're really emotional, when their man is not around. It is appropriate to ask a woman, when is her next period? Not, are you on the rag or whatever people say, like that seems really 80s to say that out loud, but I don't even know if people say that
That
anymore.
Is so 80s.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm dating myself, sorry guys.
But that's true. Don't, even when I'm like asking about it, I never want to like invalidate and like have someone think that like, oh, well, you're crabby because of this.
Because it's minimizing your experience, but it also magnifies your experience. As a woman, being able to say, well, shoot, I'm probably 4 days or 5 days away from my period, so it makes sense that I would, be retaining a little bit of water, be craving, salty foods, and hate myself at a baseline, right? And most women, maybe not most, some women that I've experienced are really relieved when they get their period because it makes sense of all these impending emotions and all this intensity and mood fluctuations. Yeah,
that's very like Eastern medicine, like to get it out, but obviously, like different things will change your hormones. I have not had kids, so I'm a pretty like 38-day cycle or whatever. I'm pretty consistent cycle. But what's been your experience? Because you have children.
Oh, I have 4 children. I also had a hysterectomy, full disclosure, April 1st of this year because of hormonal issues, but I never got the correct diagnosis until I was symptomatic. And the symptoms I was experiencing, not to get too graphic, was 15 pounds of weight gain every cycle, which is kind of painful. It's all fluid, and I would almost look as though I was pregnant. I would also experience deep dives of depression, but luckily I'm on an antidepressant, so I didn't have to experience like the suicidality, but really, really intense depression, cystic acne on my face, and intense weight gain, and really spikes in mood. Not necessarily bad moods, but just a lot of mood and then disappearing, and a lot of like feelings, and just knowing that I was feeling crazy, and then really intense periods. And so this last year I got to go to my an offside OB, because my OB was not as alarmed as I was, and so I got the sonogram and stuff, and I was diagnosed with adenomyosis, which is similar to endometriosis, which means that your body essentially, the uterus is just this poison bag that fills up with cysts, and the skin itself is really disturbing, and it's created by an overproduction of estrogen.
Okay.
Which also creates mood swings, memory loss, intense feelings, spikes in feelings, mental illness, panic attacks. And it's like, oh my gosh, what if it was just estrogen this whole time?
Yeah.
So when I had the hysterectomy, which was a horrible experience, but in and of itself, I got to keep my ovaries, which is really nice, because those are the ones that essentially moderate your hormones.
Yeah.
And then after that, my mood has been, I wouldn't say stable, because I mean, it's me, but it's like my mood is markedly easier to manage.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel so incredibly overwhelming. So I understand that not just my ovaries creates the mood, but my entire uterus controlled my mood.
Sure.
Which is crazy to think about.
Right? Everything, And so, because I don't think we think about that. It's like, oh, what's happening? What's my brain doing?
Exactly.
The hormone thing's super important to mental health stuff, which is why you see postpartum. Right? I mean, that's
and it's awful.
Yeah.
Well, I think of Susan Smith, and I go back to, of course, Murderers, because that's my thing. And it's a lady, the Mormon lady, who drowned her kids in the bathtub because of postpartum psychosis. And I think of that's like my 10. It's like if a woman is, because we're not really built to kill our own children. That's like the mortal sin, right?
Yeah.
The thing that makes a woman the worst is the baby murderer. The woman who is able to take her children and drown them in order of age in a bathtub because of, you know, the devil was talking to her, telling her essentially that her children were bad. And that was hormones. And so if hormones can create that in a woman, hormones should be feared. Hormones should be really kind of brought into a conversation, because that's really terrifying.
Sure.
You know?
And postpartum, whether it's depression, postpartum anxiety, but if you're more psychosis, OCD, if you're more prone to those things prior to getting pregnant, it's something to look out for, to be aware of, to
grab your support system. Also, I think about miscarriages and how, well, nowadays society is more loving. But I always felt like, you know how you're not supposed to tell everybody until you're 3 months in or whatever?
Yeah.
Why, was my thought. Like, well, if you tell everybody, they're like, well, they don't, I mean, you don't want to like upset them with the news of the miscarriage. I'm like, well, you need support.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
You want support no matter what. You should be able to announce the pregnancy as soon as you pee on the stick, and then be like, well, if it doesn't work out, I really need some hugs, and I really might want something from your crock pot. Like, instead of like, oh, well, you know, it's my fault that I lost the baby. Sorry, I don't want to upset everybody. You know, it's just like, I don't understand. I don't understand why we blame the woman. It's really weird. That's kind of
I would still keep it to myself until. Just because I feel like that grieving. Like I get it. Like I understand like having that support system and all that. Probably telling close friends and getting that. But I think one of the, and I'll have to repost it, but one of the blog posts I posted a long time ago was about the emotions along with having a miscarriage and how your body, because it was going to be pregnant for 9 months, holds on to some of that stuff. It's like a whole, it's like a whole body thing. So
I mean, that was the theory that I read, and I wish I had the direct name of the doctor that I read about, but it was essentially saying that every time you have your period, PMS is based on this grief, like your body is holding the grief of the baby you're not going to have. So you're basically shedding all the tissue and shedding the hope and promise, because that's what we're built for. We're built to breed. So every time we don't breed, our body's saying goodbye to this baby that we're not having, which I really like, because PMS is like crabby and like, oh, I hate myself. But if you think about it in terms of grief, it's almost beautiful.
Yeah.
Your body is letting go of this promise to itself.
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't probably feel beautiful at the time.
Oh my God, it's the worst. But
it's the worst.
Right?
I think we talked about that. I think we talked about on one of the last episodes, I think it was in 2008, that I had an ectopic pregnancy, and that was the whole thing, was like so much like grief, and like I think I gained a lot of weight afterwards and all that, and just trying to like pick up the pieces and figure out like what was next.
What it means.
Yeah.
And
which
these
is
fragments actually affect your future.
Sure. Which is a great, obviously we're always advocating therapy, but looking back at the time, that is something that I wish I would have like went and talked to somebody about. Like my like girlfriend support just wasn't local. And I think that, you know, it's something important to go talk to somebody about, and to process and all that. Postpartum.
Abortion.
Yep, abortion.
I think it's really
pregnancy.
Important. Any pregnancy or trying infertility issues, it's really important to process that, because there is a sense of powerlessness, and also the sense of blame. Like, how can you be powerless but also be blamed? And I don't understand that. Like, how can you be so out of control? And it's so scary, especially for couples.
Sure.
And it takes all the fun out of sex too, because it's like, oh, now it's a job and we have to do these things in order to perform a certain task. And it's like, well, that sounds super romantic and everything.
That's so romantic.
No thanks, you know?
Yeah. So what would be your, I guess, like recommendation for people, like, even if you were thinking about looking for a therapist yourself, for somebody who was, I mean, first thing I think of is a woman. But what would be some other things you think would be good for people to look for? Like someone their own age,
somebody who, I mean, there's definitely people who have expertise in it. There's fertility specialists. There's also people that work through clinics, if that's what you want. I always say date your therapist, and I don't mean have sex with your therapist. I mean like call up somebody, see if there's chemistry, and if she's not answering the phone, maybe she's not what you need. You know what I mean? If you want to spend 15 minutes kind of talking shop with somebody,
interviewing them.
This is a relationship that you're building. You guys put a lot of time into your internet profiles for Tinder. Like, put some time into researching your therapist, and go in with the premise of thinking, you know, if this doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. And a talented, great clinician is going to be like, I totally see it. Oh my God. Hi, come here, child. This is my child, one of my children.
He probably does not want to hear about hormones.
No, you don't want to hear about this, do you? You need to go sit with your sister, okay?
Do you just need snuggles?
Do you need snugs today? All right, we'll sit in my lap and we'll finish with you here.
So cute. Yay.
What do you think about babies? Good talk.
I can't talk about babies right now.
I'm technically a baby myself.
How old are you? I don't even know how old you are anymore. Are you driving?
How old are you, bud?
Do you drive?
Put your hands.
You don't drive yet?
Oh my gosh. Are you in school? No, but do you potty on the toilet like a big boy? Yes, you do. So that puts you at like 3.
We potty on the toilet like big girls. We potty on the toilet. Yeah. Okay.
Well, go see your sister, please.
I want you.
Oh, I want you too. I want you
it's cool. We can wrap up. So interview your therapist. There are fertility specialist therapists.
Yes.
And make sure you educate yourself on your hormones.
Yeah, get on an app. I think it's a great idea. If you're on birth control, definitely qualify the birth control. Yes, a little bit. Go sit with your sister, please.
Anyway.
That's birth control in itself.
I know, that's what I was just saying. I was like, oh, am I ready for that?
I don't know, man. Get some good locks.
That's birth control.
And that right there is birth control.
He's so cute. That's not birth control.
It's true.
That's not even helpful.
Unless he comes in again, and then you'll be like, yes, that's annoying.
You're like, okay, fine. Now I'm done. I don't know. He's still pretty cute, so I feel like he could probably get away with it about 5 times before I would.
Pretty much amazing, and he's probably the cutest child I've seen in a while.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute. And I'm partial. So, the Clue app was what you were saying.
Super great app.
Yep.
Also, really, really take a look at the birth control you're on.
Sure.
If you're on birth control, some of the symptoms that you might experience because of the birth control are actually similar to a mood disorder.
Yeah.
And it's really important to talk to both your OB
Yep.
and your psych and bring that up. A lot of women experience depression on birth control. It's almost like a postpartum experience. So definitely check the black box. Yes, I can
Time
make
to.
it brighter.
You still playing the same game?
Wait, let's go back to right. Yeah, is that good? You got Roblox. All right. Thanks, Mom. Shut the door behind you, please. Thanks, bud. All the way. Love you. You're the best. 5 minutes.
I was like waiting for him to smash his fingers in the door. Like, oh no.
No, he's fourth kid, so that's a self-starter kid. Check the black box, birth control. Definitely talk to your OB, and if you experience really high levels of anxiety, depression, or weight fluctuations on your birth control, maybe go back to the drawing board and kind of explore different options, because there's so many different options.
Sure.
But birth control makes your body feel like you're pregnant. So if you've had a really great experience in pregnancy, you might feel like euphoric, you might feel hypomanic. But sometimes when you get off of birth control, you become a little less pleased with your life.
Yeah, because all those, even serotonin, I was reading an article, and that's why sometimes now they'll use selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors during days 14 through 30 of your cycle, because serotonin's really can affect your female hormones. So,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think specifically your estrogen, don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, our hormones and our endocrine system's like all connected, you know?
All connected.
It's all connected.
And if you can have like a period buddy where you can actually have somebody, if you're not organized and you want somebody to track your own period, and you know how women sync up, and I know that people deny that happens, but it actually happens.
100% it happens.
Ridiculous that people even believe that it doesn't. It's probably a man that believes that they don't. But when women hang out together a lot, it's been a lot of times, sometimes cycles will jump. Like I always connect it to her cycle, which is super funny.
Means that I'm the alpha, which is also super funny.
Yeah, it's awesome actually. Which means that if we were in cave time days, that you would be the one having sex with all of the other tribe members, which, you know, I don't really.
I wonder how my husband feels about that. When he
it depends on the tribe,
when
right?
he listens to this.
If it's like a really great tribe that are super handy and like to mow the lawn, be like, okay, I wouldn't be so sad about that. Sorry, Jeff.
Don't get excited. Don't get excited.
Bring them all in, right? They're all like working on the roof when you get home.
It always comes back to the tribe.
Always. Let me think.
So doctor, psych, therapist
always, especially if you're
app.
going through it, and an app to track your period. Also giving yourself permission to have a couple of bad days.
Yes.
Those were my cheat days when I used to get my period, is when I had those intense food cravings, and I would punish myself for like snacking on chips or whatever. But I guess my law for myself was essentially saying, if you're on your period, just eat whatever you want.
Eat whatever you want. I love
Within
that.
limits.
No, have a cheat day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hard enough on ourselves. I feel like that's not anything else to be hard on ourselves for.
If I want to eat a whole can of almonds in one sitting, which is totally my thing and strange, then I will, and that's fine. And now I don't get a period anymore.
Yeah.
Best part of hysterectomy. But I also get to PMS.
Don't rub it in.
I still have PMS, which is super random because I still ovulate.
Yeah.
Which I think about, like my weird ovaries just floating like astronauts into the.
I wonder if you
ether.
didn't have your overies, if you would still have PMS.
I would be in menopause.
Okay, so you'd still have some type of mood.
I would still be a psychopath.
I'm like, oh good, women get to go through this whole thing where like it's like our period starts when we're, you know, 15, different ages, obviously, like sometimes 12, so like 12 to 15 or 16, and then we, you know, then we ovulate so we can have babies, and then we have more hormone stuff.
Period. Pregnancy. Right?
More hormone stuff.
Breastfeeding actually increases your hormones too.
Really good for you. I am all about, people are really going to think this is crazy, but I'm all about it. So you can now save the placenta and turn it into pills.
Yes.
That actually makes a lot of sense to me because you would actually have all these hormones and then have this big drop when baby is born. Now you can keep some of those hormones by breastfeeding and all that. But I do think that in pill form of that, just helping to continue to get those things for your body.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
I was super grossed out by it, but I had C-sections. I'm not like one of those warriors that squatted in a hot tub in my living room.
We'll see. Maybe that's something we'll pot about if that ever happens, and my husband doesn't think it's the grossest thing in the world. But it's pill form now. Like you used to be able to eat it, which I would never, ever, ever be able to do.
Or you can plant it in your yard, which is another thing where you plant it under a tree.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat mine.
Fork and knife. I just see like this big, weird, like stretchy, like wet sack. You're like, I'm like,
don't let me see it. Don't let me see it. I'm a vegetarian.
I'm a vegetarian. I just eat my placenta.
Does that make you not a vegetarian? I guess it would. Eating an organ. Cannibal. Oh.
Kind of hot.
We better wrap up because I can hear a child coming.
Yeah,
like
totally.
I feel like somebody's gonna come in. But this is the Cynical Therapist. I'm Laurie.
I'm Elle Anslem. Thanks for watching us.
Bye guys. See you next time.